Fiat currency, value, then poor. Hope I don't get like copyright strike for this. Schwab is good. I mean, they're all the same to me for that question about, yeah, use it. What's the best exchange to use for the NASDAQ or whatever? Interactive Broker, Schwab, Fidelity, even freaking Robinhood is, they're all the same. I mean, generally. I mean, there's the regulations. It's all what interface you like. And then the fees, it's all basic. I mean, there's maybe different exchange rates or whatever, but fees today are all the same. If you want to do leverage and stuff, I think, well, I don't have a link for it, so but Ping X I think is not bad. There could be slippage though. Poor. Poor. Does anyone know? Am I gonna get like booted off of YouTube for like playing this? I don't hope not. Poor. What do we call them? People. What is the context of that? I accidentally closed out my ETH long completely earlier. I wanted to just take partial profits, but whatever. I opened a new trade. I think we could get up a bit more. So sometimes if you could erase away all the pain since March, that would be chill, and we're not that far away from that. People. Let's see. Call them poor. We call them poor. And poor. We call them poor. Poor. There's a name for him. We call them poor. So all the people tell me, or asking me if they should sell. I'm thankful I told them no. But I mean, the main reason for that is because dead people are the best traders. Buy and die. Hold, it'll eventually come back usually. Fiat. Currency. Or a value. Them poor. We call them poor. People who use fiat currency. Them poor. We call them poor. But then again, for people that I told not to, I mean, it's still, well, for Bitcoin, you're still above here. I mean, you're all the way back to that area. Now, the thing that's, I mean, ETH versus Bitcoin, you're trying to come back freaking 3 days. That's not, it's not impressive. But ETH dominance is an important one to look at, I think. We call them poor. We call them poor. Poor. What was the beef? Isn't Michael Saylor under some criticism lately? What's the beef people been having with Michael Saylor? What the hell did he do? Or what didn't he do? But yeah, I mean, ETH dominance. I think if we continue a rally upward for the next, month to 2 months, in all likelihood, the ETH is probably going to bottom out against Bitcoin. Especially if we can get what was printing like a week ago or a few days ago, kind of snake eyes in the 2 week and 3 week. Especially the 3 week, that hopefully should be enough double snake eyes, but and that should appear within the next few days if we could at least stay sideways here or somewhat upward. So yeah, no, I mean it's cool, and people who use fiat currency as a store of value, call them poor. So yeah, Solana came all the way back up, just above those levels. That's good. I mean, holding that low, I think everything should continue to rally, even the coins that could potentially go to zero, such as ApeCoin. If you could hold kind of that 42 cent, maybe you could continue. That's looking more, yeah, I mean, some of these are really, But, you know, if you look at, let's see, Bitcoin dominance, I mean, the view is that this should come down relatively soon. I think it may. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. In terms of interest rates, I'm just curious if anything. Yeah, so it's gotten more because the market pumped now. Now everybody's probably putting money that we're gonna just have a pause. So most likely you wouldn't end QT then until June. My view is that you may pump until they officially end QT. I could be wrong, but just a hunch. We pump until like the end of June, and then your targets could be really high. Like, well, not really, really high, but like, well, I mean, you could make a new all-time high. I would say that's best case scenario. Like end of June, around 119, 120. That's bar line, 118, somewhere around there. I would say on the lower end, hopefully you would look at like old all-time highs. Probably 40% would be a lot. Now, if ETH could outperform that, let's see where ETH could be because that's what most people care about right now. 85. I could see ETH back up. Yeah, I could see it outperforming Bitcoin by a good amount. Man, a double. I mean, that would be up 100. That would be pretty insane. Let's see where that would be on this chart. Up 100% would probably be. Well, it ain't impossible. It ain't. I mean, it do come up quick sometimes. I don't know if there's enough like momentum and other stuff in the market, but yeah, is it really the largest gain point in history? That's pretty crazy. Um, Shows how much power the lion has. He posted on Truth Social. Now is a good time to buy, like 2 hours before spending tariffs. And this is kind of what you didn't need to be a genius to kind of guess the lion was going to ease. And I mean, I posted on one of my friends like TikToks. One of my friends that I know in IRL posted a TikTok. He's like, recession, tariffs, it's all going to shit, all that. And I'm like, nah, the lion is going to ease. And I use that vocabulary too. The lion is going to ease. It's going to come back. And what happened? I got it right. I posted a pre-recorded video saying we probably bottomed out the other day, the day before yesterday. And so far we've held that low slightly here. ETH made a lower low, but that's ETH. It's a garbage token. No, I'm just kidding. But, in the environment, it did make a lower low, but it's still generally the bottom right there. And then you pumped up. So, we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. I think you most likely will continue the rally. We still got China to deal with, or China, as you would pronounce it in Spanish. China to deal with. It's going up. They do a little trade war there, so all efforts are going on China. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, there you go. 3,000 points. I mean, the one anyone cares about is the Nasdaq. This whole frickin'. Oh yeah, so just completely taken away, and the Dixie's surging too, so everything's surging. Yeah, most of this drop just completely done. We're back to where we were in, last month, completely erased. Easy come, easy go. Now, I could reject from here. Anything could happen, but so far, completely erased. Now, let's look at the Dixie versus the Nasdaq. So you're probably all the way. Oh my God, yeah, because the Dixie's going up too. So yeah, you're in terms of versus the Dixie, you're only down 10% right now. Let's see what Bitcoin's down versus the Dixie. So I mean, just crazy. See how quickly the lion pausing tariffs can change things. Bitcoin is down about 20%, so versus the XY. And I'm just curious, what was so let's do, that was probably should move. Yeah, I mean, that was actually a lower low there from, counting in, just about same general thing though. So that was from where, it was 27% down. And then I just want to see what it was in the 4-year cycle. I forget what was this. That was 31, so slightly better each time. And then if you go way back, January of over here, 17, I think that was, 32. What was it again? 32, then I just want to see the pattern here against the Dixie. 32.29, and I think this was 27. 32, 29, 27. So about 2 or 3% better each time. Probably the bottom, and then you keep going. So yeah, I mean, my view is that, you know, you still got, you know, something like this. That may be higher 100s. That may be like way too optimistic, but yeah, if you could generally stay bullish, I think there's more to it. What's up, M-Ice? Let's see. Really appreciate you guys. If you guys are interested, check out the pinned chat. You get 10% for fees for life. You sign with my link over on BloFin. In addition, if you deposit at least $100 on any of the exchanges down below, I'll give you one free month in All Empire VIP Discord. So yeah, I just had an ETH win there. I accidentally closed out the entire damn trade. I don't know why. But I wanted to keep a little bit in. But I entered a new one, but it's all right. You know. So yeah. But here is the trade right there. So yeah, and we had a nice chat with some of you guys last night. And shout out to Night Shade too, who's been posting a lot of good stuff. So check it out. People who invest use fiat as a store of value. We call them poor. Okay, so the volatility is going down. VIX is way down. Most likely we continue forward. Yep. So yeah. Business history in the history books, probably the low for S&P 500, probably the low for the NASDAQ, and we just keep going. Most likely. Anything could happen, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's look at the SPY right here. Let's see how much we erased the... I got too many goddamn lines here. Just clear all this. I just want to Let's see. 14 draw, yeah, or just remove all this, start all over. Right there. Okay, so we're back to where we were around March 13th, and then back here, September 24th. Right around there, yeah. Decent spot, and then obviously up here would be the next one. But I mean, it shows you how big tariffs are, how much money in and out. So I mean, a lot of big money really thinking that this will continue. Fear and greed is probably already right there, yeah. That'll come up though, I think, as the markets, yeah. As long as they stay put here. What's up, Plan E? Let's see. What's up, David Bromolo? Bitcoin's done incredible. Oh yeah, yep. And I still think, you know, we're still a little bit delayed. Definitely delayed a bit, but 4-year cycle stands to a certain extent, in my opinion. You know, I mean, obviously here it was, you know, much, as you saw that low in January. Now we're at the beginning of April, so, you know, February, March. Yeah. I mean, you're 2 months delayed. I mean, 2 months delayed. So if it's 2 months delayed, you had your peak here, you know, November, beginning of November, maybe your peak's in the beginning of January of next year, you know, just like similar to 2018. The same, Michael Saylor been forced to sell something to keep that balance. I'm not sure that could be that. Yeah, I mean, he could do what he wants. I don't see what the issue is with that, but yeah. But I mean, my view here is like, you know, let's look at MicroStrategy. So we looked at the VIX. That's looking bullish in terms of coming down. You know, and then MicroStrategy. Obviously, if Bitcoin hit the bottom, this obviously will. And then Yeah, I mean, you could get somewhere between back up to those all-time highs, all the way up to maybe 800 end of year, and then I mean, let's just follow, from the peak. This had an early peak. Yeah, that was a lot of speculation there. I think it'll follow Bitcoin now more a bit though. 89% down. So if you were to come all the way up to 800, yeah, I mean, somewhere probably between, you probably end up between 100 to 89 again at some point in the bear market. Maybe not, but you know, if you really want to follow Bitcoin completely, or what it did last time, 75. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that was just looking in terms of like support resistance there. Yeah, I mean, kind of hit. That was like a historical big area right back there. But yeah, what are you guys thinking? I mean, I think that I think that we got some potential here. Probably will keep going. And I mean, if ETH can get back up to 18 something, you erased a lot of the pain in the last month. I mean, Bitcoin already erased that pain. ETH versus Bitcoin is really what we want to see do something finally. I think it can, but we don't know. We don't know. Well, unforeseen events have shown that Bitcoin, that nobody really knows, and Bitcoin could be headed up, and now we're back on. Bull market back on. Everybody was panicking, and now 2.5 minutes later, bull market back on. Yeah, that's kind of how it is. Shorts have to be terrified. Well, yeah. I mean, let's look at funding rates, crypto. The thing is, yields are maybe coming down a tiny bit, but not really. I mean, yeah, funding rates are not really high yet. So there's not enough really longs yet to. Yeah, most likely to keep going up based on that. What was I gonna say? Oh, there's something I wanted to look at. I forgot what it was. There's something cool too. Oh yeah. The 10-year yield, because that's generally up, but I think now it's coming down, which is good. So I guess just Dixie going up, this coming down. Well, it doesn't really have to do with the day completely with the Dixie, but I think it should continue downward. And then we got inflation coming out tomorrow, some inflation data on the 10th, and that'll probably help us out even more if it's good inflation data, and I think it will be. I think it will be cooler than expected. So yeah, that's just my view. So yeah. Let's see. We're 4 p.m. Eastern time right now. But yeah, I mean, I think that we got a lot ahead of us, a lot of more bullishness ahead of us. Let's see. We got 90 days in terms of those tariffs. So May, June, July. You'll probably see more tariff stuff potentially bring us down for a typical summer lull. But I would say next 90 days, well, I mean, until the Fed ends QT, which probably will happen in June now. It could be May, but now that markets have pumped, it brings it more likely up to being June. So yeah. Let's look at the weekly. The money flow does look like it may come down more. That money flow is scary on the weekly. Yeah, anyone who's bearish because of that, you have a good point. Here, I mean, well, it could be like this, It's really the test here. You come up, maybe you play with old all-time highs into June, into that FOMC meeting, and then what happens? Recession. It's all done. I mean, how far would this go down in a recession? I mean, I would be surprised if you went down much below like 48 or high 50s, high 40s, low 50s. Excuse me, high 40s, low 50s. So, I mean, if it is that true recession year, you'd probably see something along these lines, something like that, with that, that potential pump forward. But I think it's gonna be more like this, probably something more like this situation. however far you come down during the summer, and then this for kind of the grand finale somewhere between 120 to 150 or 120 to 160. Those areas. So it generally would be a DCA out from October to end of December, like usual, post halving year. I want to look at the other thing that kind of keeps the 4-year cycle intact, in my opinion, would be others versus Bitcoin, which you made a slightly lower low than your February low, but kind of unexpected with the tariffs a little bit. But yeah, that's coming up, which is good. And then if you can see Bitcoin dominance come down, this could be, could still recover. It could still recover relatively nicely. So, yeah. I'm trying to think here. But yeah. Yeah, it looks good. Everything is aligning right now. Nice reset of the market, and then we'll see inflation too. And I think inflation being down would be enough to keep Trump kind of easing off, because the goal here was to get interest rates to lower, and you're getting, you probably did enough in terms of that. Bond volatility is up. So rescuing hedge funds would be, I forget. Yeah, somebody was telling me about that. The MIC told me about that, right? So that would mean that, according to that, if that's true, that would mean yields are going to fall, right? I'm trying to think. Bond volatility. I didn't even know there was an index for bond volatility. Forgot about that, but yeah. I don't know. I think your yields will generally come down, and I mean that's the opinion everyone has, but it'll probably just a matter of how much. If we only get if you get 3 cuts, I mean that may only bring you down to, like, from where we are right now to, I mean, 3 cuts theoretically it may only come back down to here into the end of the year. I would hope it would come down lower, but it could be anywhere from 3.6 all the way down to maybe even 3. I mean, I don't think you'd go much lower than, 22, you messed around there. 21 was the year, man. 21 was the year. That was the year, if I do say so myself. 2021, that was the year. Probably never going to see a year like that, at least not for a long time. But not double bottom others. Let's look at others in general, because you guys like your others. Let's see here. Let's see. A nice jump like everything else. Higher low. Good, good, good. In the red, but in the red could be the place to start going in or whatever. So you had these 2 drops in 2021. They were just a little bit, a little bit more elongated. And then where could this end up? Let's say Bitcoin goes up 40%. I mean, could this outperform Bitcoin by 100%? Maybe. Next couple months, maybe. Let's see, present. Because China printed a lot of money. That kind of helps us too, yeah. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with the Chinese trade war. I think they will come to an agreement, but we shall see. Because the thing is, what Trump's doing is he's putting all pressure on China. So if you just focus on going against China, you might be able to win. So make a decent deal or a better deal. Oh, he's doing something right now? Dramatically reverse course. Yeah. I don't know if that's like 90 days, right? It's only effective until April 10th. Yeah, the Beijing one. They could raise it more though, but
$8 billion, and we're holding back Colombia. We're holding back a lot of the schools because they were woke, and they've hurt a lot of people. Okay. Thank you.
There's, there are a large number of regulations on the books. These are regulations that are currently in effect that we believe blatantly violate the law, blatantly violate Supreme Court precedent that otherwise are just blatantly illegal. So what this presidential memorandum does basically just directs the heads of your departments and agencies to follow the law and to cease enforcing regulations that are blatantly illegal or unconstitutional.
Big deal.
executive orders.
It's really very important that we get these memorialized.
So,
Governments. Very important. For the long run.
yes, sir. This is the last of our deregulatory EOs for the day. This is zero-based regulatory.
What is like CNN? So I'm just curious. Like,
Time, regulations
wow.
accumulate on the books and in the Federal Register, and people aren't
16
taking
years.
a close, detailed look at what's on the books and clearing them out as times change or as regulations become dated.
S&P 500 biggest gain since
What
08.
this
Wow.
executive order is going to require is each of your departments and agencies to scrutinize on a continuing rolling basis all of the regulations they actually have on the books and sunset those that either no longer serve a purpose or the departments and agencies can't identify a specific reason for keeping them active.
Well, let's see here. And by the way, guys, if you're interested in trading, we're going to Las Vegas for the Bitcoin conference. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be there. Prices rise on Friday, which is in 2 days. So check it out. 10% off of my link. And then BloFin, 10% cash back on your trades, only my link. This ended yesterday. Shoot.
With other law firms, this is an executive order that takes certain
But the 10% remains. That's for life. But oh yeah, MacBook Pro. Okay. Ew.
scrutinizing certain
Well, who knows what your odds are here, but still something.
law firm, given their previous
For BloFin. BitFi's great too. 15% cash back.
We signed with many law firms, the ones that we thought were inappropriate, and they've all agreed to pay $1 million. They went for some pretty big numbers. I guess we have a total. What do we have? What's the total about? What's the total right now, Steve? About, what did you say?
Getting close to probably 600-700 million now, I would think. We multiple at 100 million, some at 125 million. So the numbers are adding up. We're going to be close to $1 billion soon.
One at 40
Billion.
$40 million.
Okay. Okay. Billion.
Millions
Billion.
of dollars an hour. But they don't admit guilt. Remember?
Look at the line.
But, and we have another 5 to go, I think, 5 of them. And this one is just, we're just starting the process with this one. Because there were some very bad things that happened with these law firms.
This one is very involved in the election.
Weren't they all involved in the election this time? I think they were all involved.
Yes.
Anyway, so they went from $40 million to $125 million, and most of them are at about $100 million. Thank you.
Sir, the next presidential memorandum we have for you relates to Miles Taylor. You may recall that Miles Taylor served in the Department of Homeland Security during the previous administration. In his capacity with the Department of Homeland Security, he leaked classified information. He wrote a book under the what this presidential memorandum is going to do. One, it's going to strip any active clearance that he has in light of his past activities involving classified information. It's also going to order the Department of Justice to investigate his activities to see what else might come up in that context, given his egregious behavior during the previous administration.
And I had no idea who this guy was. I had no idea. I saw him on CNN, or one of them, I guess CNN, a lot. He'd be on all the time, saying that the president is the president. I had no idea. It's like, you know, in this office, you have a lot of young people, and here I'll see him for 2 minutes, and I assume he was in the office, but I barely remember him. Barely remember him. He was somebody that went out and wrote a book and said all sorts of terrible
Since
things.
2001, unbelievable. When did the Nasdaq bottom actually back then?
Like he was this gentleman or that gentleman, like I dealt with him all the time. I had no idea who this guy said. Who the hell is Miles Taylor? And he made a living on going on CNN talking about the president.
2002.
And I think what he did
So that was 01 there, and
all
then
sorts of lies, bad things.
that was, what was this, 88% or something? 82.
It's like a
Huh.
traitor. It's like spying. He walks into the office. He's supposed to be sitting here. A lot of people, you'll be here. There'll be 20 people standing in the room. There'll be oftentimes young people in the office. I assume he was one of them at least. But
Oh, you know what's interesting? Hold on.
He wrote a book.
This would probably be more.
It was terrible. Now we have a chance to find out whether or not it was terrible. But it was
Who's he talking shit about?
fiction. Had a lot of publicity. Got himself a nice job with CNN or one of them. And I think we have to do something.
Let's say we top out, I don't know, somewhere.
Other presidents, it wouldn't be sustainable for other presidents. They seem to be able to sustain.
Second Great Depression, early 2030s.
It's just
I
unfair.
don't know.
And if it was a Democrat president, I'd say that's a terrible thing. A thing like that can happen. It's a terrible thing. And it's time to find out whether or not somebody can do that. Can they write a book about very confidential meetings? And you know, there happen to be one of a lot of people in the
Could
room.
hit these areas earlier though.
Worse than that, call it anonymous, like it's a big deal. And everybody saying, who is he?
Against the
Who is he?
Dixie, just drop looks like
It
nothing,
was
yeah.
found out who he was a long
Yeah, a
time
couple
later.
more.
And he got a lot of publicity over that. It was like a promoter. But we're going to find out whether or not somebody's allowed to do that. I think it's a very important case, and I think he's guilty of treason. If you want to know the truth, but we'll find out. And I assume we're recommending this to the Department of Justice.
Here's what's gonna happen, guys. Great Depression numero dos, early 2030s. I don't know, I'm just kidding.
Similarly, sir, Christopher Krebs, the former head of CISA, this is a man who weaponized his position against free speech in the election context, in the context of COVID-19. This is another, it's a similar presidential memorandum to the one you just signed. It addresses his access to government, existing clearances he might have, and further instructs your Department of Justice, other aspects of your government, to investigate some of the malign acts that he participated in while he was still head of CISA.
This is another one. I don't know that I met him. I'm sure I met him, but I didn't know him. And he came out right after the election, which was a rigged election, badly rigged election. He did phenomenally in the election. Look what happened to our country because of it, open borders, millions of people coming into our country.
I mean, if you follow how this is going, I guess you could argue that.
October 7th would have never happened.
Yeah,
Afghanistan,
can't
the
even.
way that they withdrew. 13
QT ends when this gets higher, so around.
So many killed.
Oh, that would just be.
Soldiers, hundreds of people killed.
Wait, we're already in. We're in it. Oh, this is delayed. Okay, so we're delayed 2 months here, so it would be. Let's see if it. So it'd be 1 month from now. Yeah, May you would end QT then, according to that.
Incompetent group of people that preceded us, and that would have never happened. And this guy Krebs was saying, oh, the election was good, it was good. It's been proven that it was not only not great, when you look at all these lawyers and law firms that are signing, giving us hundreds of millions of dollars, it was proven by so many different ways and so many different forms, from the legislatures not approving to the 51 intelligence agents that worked from all of the different scamming operations. It was a very corrupt election. They used COVID to cheat. And we're going to find out about this guy too, because this guy's a wise guy. He said, we can prove this is the most secure election in the history of our country. No, this was a disaster. And frankly, we should go to paper ballots, same-day voting, voter ID, and one other thing, vote, you should get a little certificate that says you're a citizen of our country. You get a citizen piece of paper that says you're a citizen before you can vote. But you want voter ID and you want paper ballots.
I got a question for you guys. Is there, I don't even know, like, is there anywhere that, where you actually, is there anywhere you could vote in person? I'm not talking about like mail-in ballot or whatever, but is there anywhere where you can vote in person that doesn't require you to show an ID? I feel like, is that really a thing in some states? I don't even know.
Find out whether or not he was right. This was a disgraceful election, and this guy sat back
Travel warnings.
saying, well, I'm a member, like he's a Republican or something. And almost right from the beginning. And he's tried to make the case that this election was a safe election. I think he said this is the safest election we've ever had. And yet, every day you read in the papers about more and more fraud that's discovered. He's the fraud, he's a disgrace. So we'll find out whether or not it was a safe election. And if it wasn't, he's got a big price to pay.
Well, volatility's coming down on the VIX, which is good.
No idea who he is. Krebs. No
Let's see.
idea.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he was in the room at some
Let's see.
point.
Am I?
I have no idea who he was. So thank
Let's
you.
see. Hedge funds are liquidating treasuries, but
For the country.
if bailed out yields won't rise but
Just had
fall,
proclamations. These are the sorts of things that most presidents.
they need yields down. Maybe they'll get. I mean, I think they'll definitely come down. I don't see why they wouldn't. You know.
Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day. This is one that you did in each of, I believe, each of the previous years of your previous administration.
In Florida, somebody did it without ID. I always had to show ID when I voted in Florida.
This proclamation is written.
You'd think that's one of the states that would be so strict on that.
This administration and your previous administration on behalf of veterans, homeless veterans, others who.
I remember one time one of my friends had ID and they wouldn't let him vote in Florida.
Your administration to ensure that veterans and homeless veterans are cared for properly.
And you know what, they ought to find out who was using that auto pen. Because whoever
Oh, nice, David Rumbelow.
was, he or she.
He'd be in Vegas. Shout out to David Rumbelow. Yeah, like I mentioned, guys, 10% off my link. Off my link if you want to get a ticket for Las Vegas right here conference. The prices rise on Friday. $400 ain't too bad with the 10%. Well, that is with the 10% off, but it's still not terrible. I mean, what would it be? Let's see here. What even? I can't even. What's going on with this? So far, oh.
Did he really know
Yeah, 450. Yeah.
when they gave all false information on the council? I mean, the whole unselect committee of
Trade to win a potential MacBook Pro.
lunatics.
Wonder what the odds are there.
destroyed all
Hopefully
the
they're pretty good.
information. You can't get any information. They went for like a year and a half, almost 2 years.
BloFin is pretty good. I like
ranting
BloFin.
and raving. Democrats plus 2 worse than Democrats. You had Cheney, Liz Cheney, and crying Adam Kissinger. Crying Adam. Every time I looked at him, he was crying. The guy was a crier. But
We are in a Trump market. I'll tell you that much.
so
That is true. We are in a Trump market.
The last 3 or 4 have been very, they've been very, very interesting. We'll see what happens. But I don't think a president should be allowed to use an auto pen when they're signing very, important legislation. I think a president should sign it, not use an auto pen. And we're gonna find out whether or
Oh,
not
wow.
he would know. I'm sure at this point.
I don't know if I've been on that uninhabited island.
But,
Um,
give pardons to people that destroyed all the information. If you destroyed information on a civil case, just a civil case, not a criminal case, a civil case, they put you in jail for that. And they found out that Pelosi was the one that was in charge of the security of the Capitol. She knew all about about that. Sure, Crazy Nancy's not too happy, but we found out all the things, everything. And we go for the information, so we've destroyed all of that information. If I ever destroyed it, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, I guarantee you that, I'd be sitting someplace else. So I think it's something that we should really look at, because that's so important, the whole concept of an auto pen. Because auto pens are run by somebody, whoever ran the auto pen was president of the United States. And I would be willing to bet that Biden didn't know.
I ran some auto pens one day for somebody. Not gonna say who, but I did run some auto pens for somebody at one point.
This is just another proclamation, sir, declaring National Crime Victims' Rights Week. You've obviously made it a major priority of your administration to track down and at times deport criminals who
Let's see.
committed violence on our streets, who have victimized so many people. This is an annual
I
proclamation.
voted in a New York City suburb where I used to live. And
To remember that when crimes occur, there are real victims, there are real people who are affected, there are people who...
no ID, so you just find your name. Yeah.
Okay, it's very important, thank you.
I guess I didn't know that. I thought you needed.
The Democrats, the governor,
I thought you needed ID to vote. And well, I think in Connecticut you needed ID. Yeah, I think so.
John, and all of the people trying to...
I mean, I think, yeah, showing a driver's license to vote, it makes sense. That makes a hell of a lot of sense. I think you should be able to probably vote by mail. Well, they do it well in Florida, so, I wonder if there's a secure way to have everybody vote online, blockchain, all that. The government would never be able to figure that out. It's many years away, but...
So I think we're going to come back with a very good answer. We're also working on a certain fish that's taking over a beautiful lake called Michigan, right? And that's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's very... You want to just talk about that?
Sure, Mr. President. Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you for caring so much about Michigan. We've been working a long time. We couldn't get Joe Biden to do anything about either one of these issues, particularly Selfridge Air Force Base. It'll be critical to Michigan's economy and our security when you're able to deliver us another mission there. But on the Asian carp, for years, when Obama was there, we could never get anyone to do anything about this invasive species. It's going to destroy our Great Lakes. You know how important...
What invasive species?
And so much of that is to our
Oh,
state.
Trump, frickin'.
Because of your work, we're hopeful that we'll get a solution there and we'll get that barrier built so we can protect our Great Lakes.
Consensus is 2.6 for inflation data tomorrow. I think it may come in lower. Maybe not, though. It's hard to say. Probably 2.5, maybe a little lower or as expected. We just don't want it to come in higher than expected. February it came out 2.8, so still coming down.
And all of a sudden, I assume the lakes are all interconnected, right? So at some point, they're going to be in the other lakes. And so we're going to work hard on that. I spoke with the Army Corps of Engineers, and they have a method. It's a pretty gruesome method, but it's a method. And I think they know what to do, so we're going to work on that very hard. Thank you, Governor, very much. Sort of all stand there together and cut a ribbon, okay? Gretchen? Thank you very much. I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad you brought it up now.
God, break above this then.
You get along pretty well, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would be unlikely that you don't get up to, at least 1750 in the next, few days, 24 hours, maybe even sooner.
Questions? Moving along, but obviously I would say right now China's not exactly thrilled about signing it. We have a deal with some very good people, some very rich companies that would do a great job with it, but we're gonna have to wait to see what's gonna happen with China. So. No, it's okay. I think China's gonna wanna do it, actually.
More of what you believe is the end game with China. Are you waiting for President Xi to blink? How do you think this is all going to be resolved?
But for years we've been ripped off and taken advantage of by China and others, in all fairness, but by China, that's the big one. And just one of those things. You know, we're making $2 billion a day right now.
3 cuts by end of year at this point. That's probably about right.
And they were making $2 billion a day. We'll be making more now when you see what happened. It's still there, this was an hour ago, but.
So that means, okay, so you're saying QT ends officially in May, MICE, is that what you're, yeah, that would probably would make sense, yeah, I mean, let's see. You don't have to show your ID, you only verify your address. Wow, in North Carolina, you don't have to show an ID to, well, that's crazy.
Both economically, financially.
Even in Connecticut, I thought you had to.
And all of the other companies just raiding us and ripping us off. And also at the border where 21 million people are allowed to come in, many of those people are criminals. And, but the people that do this for a living, and some of them are very smart and some of them aren't smart at all. But these guys are very smart and my group is very smart. My whole group is smart. And you've done so amazing on the border. I read the other day that there were 9 people and hundreds of thousands 2 years ago with Biden, and we had 9. We had it down to 9, and they were all let in for medical reasons. They were in bad shape. We let them in for medical reasons, not even for anything else. So you've been amazing. But that's a big thing. I think it's one of the greatest problems that I've never seen anything like it. Open borders. The whole world was emptied out. Prisons from all over the world, from the Congo in Africa, from Africa to Asia, a lot in South America, but it wasn't just South America. Prisons emptied out, and I said it outside with the drivers before, but El Salvador has been amazing, the job that the president's done. He's coming to see me next week, and we look forward to that, but that's really been amazing. Yes?
Zach Lloyd coaching, thoughts on David? I wasn't on, oh man, I was not on, I don't know who that is even. David Levinson? I've heard the name. No, I wasn't on his space. I don't think, no. QTN, stimulus can come through tax cuts for those making under a fee, reducing capital gains. Okay, interesting.
If this was the strategy all along to bring them to the table, why did you instruct or advise, or maybe they did it on their own, some of your top aides to say this is not a negotiation, to hold the line, that they were going to hold the line, that you were not going to change your mind?
A lot of times it's not a negotiation until it is, and that happens.
Yeah.
I said outside that you have to have flexibility
We'll see what happens.
to do it right, and that's
But as of right now, I guess QT ends in May, and then May or June, I would say. I almost want to say June, but who knows? And then definitely you're going to see a cut in June. You could see a cut and then a QT in May, depending on how the numbers are tomorrow.
just a new thing.
So yeah,
Penske just left. He's a great gentleman, great man actually. And he said no.
I agree with that. Yeah, I'm trying if they come to an agreement. Yeah.
Right. They should have done this a long time ago. A long time ago they should have done. I started it with China. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes from China in my first term, and we had the greatest economy. We were up 88% on the stock market. That was the greatest ever in the history of our country. But it had to be done. Something that had to be done.
Mr. President, thank you so much. Which country countries will be negotiating first? Do you have any criteria? Because, for example, Brazil and the UK, they do not have deficits with the US. They have a surplus. They do not have a surplus. They have deficits with the US. So what is the criteria? And also, would you consider talking or meeting with Xi Jinping?
No, sure. He's a friend of mine. I like him. President Xi, I like him. I respect him. But they haven't treated our country.
No, this is live. It's from
Other
2016, guys.
countries,
No.
We have Japan is here, and South Korea is here, and others are here, and we're trying to see them. It's from what I hear.
How's his
it's
coin
1.75.
doing?
I said 75.
How's Lion doing?
It's everybody wants to make a deal, actually, and
Ooh.
you know we want to do what's right for our country. We also want to do what's right for the world. The world is important.
Come up a tiny bit.
And I think we're going to make a lot of people very happy. And I think investing in the United States of America will be the greatest investment that anybody's ever made.
Mr. President, can we also expect to see the sectoral tariffs of the pharmaceuticals, steel? Is that something you're still considering?
Why Trump is backing off on the tariffs?
Coming back, you know, we
I mean, it's kind of what was expecting. Part of it was just a plan to get the inflation down, which you saw, and negotiate. So it's a 90-day pause, so time to negotiate and time for S&P 500 to recover. That's why, I'll tell you that much. We're coming up a little bit here.
I won't even mention
But yeah.
other places. We don't make it, and that's because we let them leave. And now if they want to come back, we're going to put
I mean, you know inflation's down when you see cattle's down.
they're going to come back.
Cattle's never down, I'll tell you that much.
Biden with the chip deal. That chip deal was horrible. They give billions and billions of dollars to chip companies. All they have is money. They have so much money. And they give billions of dollars, and they're just going to keep the money. They're not going to spend it. And the only thing that's going to bring them back is you say, we have a
Except
barrier.
brief
You have to
time.
pay 50%
Interesting.
or 100% or 200%.
Could be.
And if
They
don't
also
pay
did
it,
a
they're gonna-
test to see what would happen if they were going to pause 90-day tariffs 2 days ago, so
biggest, most prestigious chip
I feel like they were
company in
thinking
the
about it, you know?
world,
I feel like Trump was already thinking about it.
$1 billion. Think of that, $1 billion to build essentially one massive plant. It'll be one of the
Refi,
largest
that's
plants
dead.
in the world.
Yeah, no way.
Very quickly, we're gonna get them energy, we're gonna get them the electricity they need.
I don't. The thing too is like I think the yields will go down, but not as much as some may think. Like I mean, let's look at the 10-year again, U.S. 10-year. Like I mean, maybe about a point to a point and a half on this into the end of the year. It could go down lower. I don't know, but it's gonna go down, but not. I don't think you're gonna see. You know, I mean, maybe something like that. I don't know. 2015. I don't know.
Good, thank you, and, which is correct, we have, I would say, more than $7 trillion now, right, of investment coming in. Apple is coming in for $500 billion alone, we have other companies coming in with massive numbers. We have car companies that are coming in, no, we've never seen anything like it, maybe in the 1940s or 50s.
Yeah, it's not.
And 3 plants canceled in Mexico. Not that we want to hurt Mexico, but we're for us, and that's what my job is. It's not to take care of other countries, but I want to help other countries as much as I can. But we have to take care of.
They're just going to negotiate the tariffs. They're not bringing that much work back to America, believe me.
Many companies coming in that would have never.
Nor do we really want to.
Win the election and then put the tariffs.
Double bottom MicroStrategy as well.
Coming in because when they build in the United States, there are no tariffs. You don't have to pay any tariffs. So instead of paying.
Let's just see from where we are right now.
25%,
About 82 or 83.
a lot higher in some of the industries.
You know,
So we have steel
how
mills
far off
that
of
are raging.
24% would bring us up to all-time
If I
highs,
put the
essentially.
tariffs on steel,
Can you get there within the next month and a half? Absolutely. Can you get up to 110 to 120K within the next 2 months? I think so.
maybe like never before. I mean, if you go back to
2 to
US
3
steel
months,
from
yeah.
90 years ago, it was incredible. It was the number one.
If they do NQT in May, I would expect to start to see a pullback, maybe May, June, then a recovery into July.
Special
Maybe sell in May, walk away.
Japan or any other place. So we're working with them, and I don't know if they need any money now. I'll be honest with you, they hit gold.
It's a negotiation tact. I don't think you gotta like read some. You gotta read like what's happening, James.
What's going on in our country is incredible.
It's not completely backing off. It's like a 30. It's a 3 month pause. It still has done something. A lot of countries are going to negotiate. It's just threatening, you know. It's just going back and forth.
But certainly in the history of trade, there's never been a worse trade deal. We were able to cancel that. We had to get approval from Congress. It was like a disastrous curse because
Yeah, he goes on and on.
you had to go to Congress to
Let's see.
terminate it. You couldn't just terminate it because it was a bad deal. And you had people in Congress that didn't want to do it because they had other reasons, maybe bad
Lost the
reasons.
trade war. Well, the one with China is still going on. I mean, it depends how you define lost the trade war. I mean, aren't there still the 10% tariffs on stuff, and there's still negotiations. So I don't know if that's a depends. You know what you define as winning the war. You know what I mean? It depends what you define.
$7 trillion is unheard of. I never looked at the Biden numbers, but you could go a whole year, and it was peanuts. Everybody was leaving. They weren't coming in. They were leaving, and that means jobs are leaving. And so we're not playing games. We're going to make this country greater than ever before. Thank you.
That one was ridiculous.
Mr. President, it seems that China's taking oh yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. For the past
What is
few
that?
days, we've heard from this
Yeah,
administration
that's right.
a pause. Was this idea of doing a pause
What
that
is
came
that?
about this morning?
That's a good question.
Tell us exactly what came into consideration for you and your advisors.
For a period of time,
Stonefish.
this morning, over the last few days,
Oh.
I've been thinking about it. I've been dealing with Scott, with Howard, with some other people that are very
Look at that stonefish.
And I think it probably came together early this morning, fairly early this morning. Just wrote it up. We didn't have the use of, we didn't have access to lawyers or anything. We just we wrote it up from our hearts, right? It was written from the heart. And I think it was well written too, but it was written from the heart. It was written as something that I think was very positive for the world and for us. And we don't want to hurt countries that don't need to be hurt. And we don't want to negotiate.
It's so funny. Like you just get like like the this and that. Man, social media.
Take care of them, but we have to take care of our country. So, but this was something certainly we've been talking about for a period of time, and we decided to pull the trigger. And we did it today, and we're happy about it. I didn't know it would have that kind of an impact, but it's they have the biggest increase in the history of the stock market. That's pretty good. That's pretty. You're almost, if you keep going, you're going to be back to where it was 4 weeks ago. But it was a sick. Because this trade was sick.
About the crooks part, yeah.
I don't blame the tariffs. I think
If you really look into it, the vast majority of insider trading people get away with. Really, the only people that actually go to jail for insider trading make it so blatantly obvious that I'd say 90% of insider trading people get away with. Yeah, no, it's moving the market. Yeah, especially with the NFTs, and then he did his Trump coin and all that. Yeah. And he posted it's a good time to buy 2 hours before they did it. So yeah.
This was a systemic problem, and we're going to cure that
True
problem.
Social, let's see.
Maybe to a large extent.
I mean, he posts on Twitter too. It's interesting what. I don't know.
Very strongly, yes, it did.
So it seems China's made some serious missteps here, and you think
I think there's some decent things that'll come out of the tariffs. I mean, it's not like Ray Dalio said. It's good and bad.
I'm wondering, are you in a way putting together a coalition against China in terms of trade?
No. Well, China, look, they're very capable, and I don't blame China for what happened. I blame the people sitting right at this desk, right behind this desk, or another desk. You get your choice of 7. I happen to pick the Resolute, but I blame the people sitting behind.
I don't even know how that works. What a trade block even is.
Being stupid, incompetent, or not having courage. This should have been done years ago. This should have been done before Obama, in all fairness. Not only Biden, Obama.
Oh.
Many years ago, this started with the.
Yeah, that's probably going to continue downward too. U.S. recession way down.
It was owned and paid for by China. They didn't even have to do things. They considered them a nation that was undeveloped. They said they were a developing nation. Well, we're a developing nation too, if you think about it. Look at our inner cities. Look at what's happened. I think we're starting from ground zero there, right? So we're a developing nation.
84, yeah. I think, look, guys, it's probably going to keep going. I'll give you guys some potential, what I would look at for trades right now. If you went long here, I mean,
More than I blame China. If China can
above a
get
101, something like that could be a decent shot. We'll see what happens.
hundreds of billions and
I
trillions
got this ETH long in. I had one in before in the Discord.
because our people here was
Been along on TRX. If you want more info on that, links are down
I don't know how you can do that still.
below. As always, if you sign up to BloFin with my link down below, deposit at least $100, give you 1 free month and all down part VIP Discord, 10% cash back for life on your fees, and same thing with BitFi, 10% cash back for life, and then 15% bonus cash back on your first deposit. So yeah, let's see, trade block, unified rules for tariffs among others, fewer barriers between countries as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And I think what we're seeing Trump do is kind of lay off of the tariffs and stuff. And I think we're going to see a lot of kind of how it was during his first term. I mean, he's all talk to a certain extent, but I mean, inflation's down, orange juice is down, eggs are starting to come down 2%. You know, cattle's actually down 1.5% or 0.01%, whatever the hell it may be. I'll take it. I'll take it. Hopefully, you know, yields will go. It seems too good to be true. We'll see. Hopefully, yields will start to come down. You know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. See if the trade war keeps going. I think Trump will fold, though. He's not going to let anything like that happen. Probably. I doubt it. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys soon. Really appreciate you guys. Check out BloFin. Check out